Happy Wednesday, everyone! It is time for some Formula Two action here in ALR. We are in the land of the Down Under for the Australian Grand Prix. We have had three absolutely mega races from gold, silver, and bronze, and now it is Formula Two's turn to to spring some action here in Albert Park. Then what an incredible week it has been in ALR this week. I've absolutely loved Australia. It's been fantastic. It really has indeed. But before we get the before we get the action underway, then of course there's 14 turns around this course. Let's go for the drivers and teams championship. Troy not racing here tonight in the karting, but he leads the championship by 25 points. And from the man who's also not here tonight here, which is R2 Beat. He has 25 points at the back of the boat, and R2 Beat, I think, is on holiday, and he is enjoying his vacation wherever he is. I hope you are, my good sir. Luke in third position on 29 points, about 5 points away from R2 Beat. 30 points away from Troy, but remember we have 2 points for for pole position, 1 point for each fastest lap in the sprint and the feature race, and of course 10 points for the win for the sprint and 25 for the feature. Siege in fourth position, and a bit of a difficult start for Siege, to be honest, and he's had a bit of a rough ride to get this one underway, hasn't he? Vester in fifth position, he's absolutely flying in bronze at the moment. He has got the biggest championship lead out of anyone in the ALR championships at the moment, hasn't he? With a 9-point lead. Everyone else, Amultor and Dylan have only got 1-point leads going into the sprint event, which is next week in Baku. Looking forward to that one. You've got X Gamer in sixth position, the 2 points behind his teammate in the high tech. X Gamer has had lovely stuff indeed. Young Lights, who's been promoted to Virtuosi, so good stuff indeed there for Young Lights. He's done a really good job for that team. He is seventh in the championship road. And Lucifer has been my driver of the season so far. Some fantastic racing from Lucifer. Had a bit of a trying time for the feature race last week in Saudi Arabia, but he's eighth for the moment. Kaidal in ninth position. Jinnah completes the top 10 along with Serious Mushroom, both on 8 points. 2 points for Bannister and for also Vintage as well. Then 6 drivers haven't got off the mark yet, which is Flynn, Tech Racing, who seems to have disappeared into the ethos, which is not very good, is it, really, to be fair? I don't know if they even exist, to be honest. Reflections, Kiki, Martin, Hassel, and Chewy all have not got any points yet. Teams Championship, we'll go for that in a minute, so I've only got 9 seconds there. Can I do it? No, I can't do it, can I? Cool. So remember, the format for this event then is single shot qualifying to start us on our way. And here we go! And who are we starting with today, then? Let's go with... I love my shot, by the way. I do like the shots going backwards then as we go down into turn one. Then we've only got 16 we've only got 16, well, no, we haven't. We've only got 12 drivers going for qualifying now. 2 points for pole position, of course, and Hassan currently fast at the moment now. 1 shot qualifying, and Flynn is making his debut. So good 17 there for Flynn. I hope he does well. Watching Young Lights at the moment. We're on board with Young Lights at the moment. Here he is in the Virtuosi, and he'll be happy if he gets pole position at the moment. It's between himself and Hassan. And remember, this is the ultimate test, isn't it? Where you've really got to put your lap in straight from the get-go. Lights is fastest, Vestier is second, Hassel in third at the moment, and that is as it stands then. On the back, near the back, I should say, then Bannister and Lucifer, then 2 drivers who've really performed very well in Bahrain, and then Lucifer performed very well in Saudi Arabia. Both on the final row of the grid here tonight. Chewy in 14th, Serious Mushroom in 13th position. Those positions have been rubber stamped then. However, it's anyone's game then for the rest of the qualified. And Lights is still currently fast at the moment and could potentially get pole position. Percy has made his way up into third position. And Gamer has joined, and he was running a bit late, but Gamer is in the session now and in high tech as well. Percy's moved himself up into second position now. On board with Lightset, who is still the quickest driver out there. And Martin's moved up to fourth. Now Flynn is up in the fourth position now. It is so tight there, but here comes Lightset to the line. It is pole position now for Lightset. And my word, he was absolutely flying. He was Lights was, goodness gracious me, 8/10 of a second quicker than Percy in second position. That's a statement there from Lights. Magnificent pole position so far. That is incredible around these 14-turn course set. We have got, that is pole position for the feature race, and Percy will start on the road next to him then in the Prima as well then for Percy. Good stuff indeed there. Serious Mushroom will be starting on pole position for the sprint event then, of course, because he got 10th in the end in that qualifying session there. Good stuff indeed. Let's take a quick look at the classification then from qualifying then. And Lights, there he is then. Very good stuff indeed there for Young Lights. 7/10 of a second there in front of Percy in second. That was an incredible performance there from Lights, and he gets 2 points into his account then right from the get-go. Charus Racing System are the only team not to score any points so far in Formula 2. Hassan doing a great job in third position. Martin in fourth. Magnificent. Flynn making his debut tonight. Good stuff in fifth. Luke in sixth. Vintage seventh. CJ eighth. Knowlesy ninth. 10th position. Serious Mushroom. Mushroom will be on pole position and for the sprint event coming up in just a jiffy. Chewy, Lucifer, Bannister, Vessier, Hings, and Reflection then complete the grid for the Formula 2. And I hope the Gamer will be able to get in and take control of his car for the sprint event, but he'll be starting 17th on the grid if he does, of course. As we now get going, and let's take a quick look at the team's championship, shall we? Carling are actually leading the the team's championship at the moment now. 17 points in front of High Tech, who have been incredibly consistent. Both Vester and Gamer have been ever present. Then we've got Rain! My goodness me, we've got Rain afoot then for the sprints. Now, this is going to be interesting. I've seen Luke say that sprint is going to be interesting, and it certainly is, isn't it? ART and Dams both on 34 points in the team's championship. MP Motorsport in fifth with Campos 2 points behind him in sixth. Prima on 18 points, but Percy driving from tonight there, and it's looking pretty good indeed there. We've got a formation lap first. 8th position is Virtuosi, but if Young Lights are part of that crew now, I think that is going to be a very good that's going to be a very good unit for himself and for Young Lights then. So hopefully they can power themselves up the grid. Trident have been very impressive so far, but unfortunately it does not reflect in terms of points. Only down in 9th position moment. I think that everyone's on slick tires. This is going to be touch and go, isn't it? As I said, Charus Racing have not got any points on the board. This is going to get very interesting indeed. Then look, everyone is on the medium compound tires. But I would say that is quite Kiki's as well. Hello, Kiki. You'll be driving at the second Campos one. We've got a couple of drivers a bit later going now. Hopefully the formation lap goes on without a hitch. We've got a couple of issues with formation lap. But Serious Mushroom will lead us away for the sprint. Unfortunately, Kiki will not be driving in the sprint, but should be in for the feature race there. But look at that rain. That, I think, it is borderline wet tyres there. Of course, Formula 2 does not have intermediate tyres because it would be the intermediate tyres. But that is not the case there. They're all on dries at the moment. There's no spray coming up, I don't think. Even though I think there is spray coming up, to be honest. I think that's just the game. But, oh my goodness gracious me. This is going to be a very interesting opening few laps in the sprint race. Is this rain going to get worse? Is it going to get better? Are they going to have to go to the pits and go onto the wet tyres there? Remember, there is no compulsory pit stops in Formula 2, so that would be an unwanted stop, and that's why I think everyone might be on the slick tyres, to be honest, because I reckon the dry rain is going to ease up. Lovely Howard design from Serious Mushroom. Let's go for the grid show for the sprint event then. 12 laps around here. Serious Mushroom on pole for the sprint. Knowlesy alongside him on Bro 1 in the karting then. Knowlesy replacing Troy. He's got some big boots to fill. Siege in third position now. Difficult start for Siege in Formula 2 this season. He's usually an absolute monster in these machines. Difficult start now. Vintage in fourth. Great time indeed then. Luke in fifth position there. Luke had a problem in qualifying by the sounds of things. Flynn in sixth position there. Martin in seventh. Eighth in the dams. Eighth position is Hassan with Percy in ninth. And Lights, who's got pole position for the feature race. 2 points to his account already in 10th. Chewy is 11th with Lucifer in 12th position. Bannister in 13th with Vessier doing a bit of drifting in 14th. Hings in 15th position. Reflection 16th. And the Gamer there in the 70th position. Gamer is in the wrong car by the looks of things, but he would still, even though he is in the Virtuosi team, he will still be scoring points for the High Tech. Then let's get going, shall we, for the start of the Grand Prix. Lights, hello, good evening to you, young Lights. Shopping lap from me there, geez. My AI did sector 1, my wheel, so I had a wheel setting for the other game, and that's all good then. I hope that as now we're racing then for the start of the Australian Grand Prix sprint. It's lights out and it's go here then. As a lovely shot here from the background. So go down into turn one. This is very, and Siege has gone from Siege and Hassan and Bannister out of the race there. And Siege has gone up into the lead of this race there. And Sirius Rush has had a terrible start and dropped all the way down into to fourth then. And Luke is on the outside now, so we go into the Brundle turn there. The brake discs are glowing, and Luke is trying to hang it up. Then Luke will have the inside into turn 4. He does have the inside into turn 4, and he has done it then. And yes, Luke takes the lead. He's gone from 5th on the grid up to 1st there. Magnificent 17th there. Sees dropped down into 2nd then. What about Lights? And he's up into 5th already. Lights as he's flying in the Virtuosi with Percy getting past Nosey, who has dropped down 5 positions there. Flynn and Martin also down 5 as well. Terrible start for the drivers. And look, Lights is already up into 4th position. He's flying up there. He has got the, oh gosh, there's contact. He's gone across the road, and that's huge smash there. And I think that it is both tridents have got into each other, and that is unfortunate to say the least. Vintage had a half spin there, didn't he, unfortunately, and that has, yes, he got contact there from the Carling, I think, now, and that is unfortunate indeed then, and I think that both cars have, certainly, Lucifer is damaged quite badly in the Trident car. Unfortunately, had nowhere to go. Look in the background here, and who is that? That's Lights on the outside, Percy on the inside of the Prima car, and we have got Lights having the 4th position, Sirius Russian back up into 3rd now, it's Vessier and a Hings, both up 7th position so far, so come through the complete lap 1 then. How is the rain then? It is still light rain at the moment then. It is still very wet out there. Into the pits comes Siege, and that's a terrible race for Siege to start us off then. Unless Siege is going into the pits and going on to the wet tyres, and let's get the tyre information up then, because that I think could be crucial in this race. And Lights all over the back of Sirius Rush, is now from 2nd then. As I thought it was an ART 1-2 then, but Sirius Rush is in the cap boss, not the ART then, so I'll get the teams right eventually. And here comes Percy down the inside of Lights. Does he do it? Yes, he does do it. He is through and up into 3rd position there. Almost rubbing wheels, banging wheels now. Wet tyres for Siege and for Lucifer, so it is borderline. We've got yellow flags as one of, I think it's Vessier off in the high-tech car, unfortunately. Down the order, we're going to take a look at that as Vintage trying to recover. Vessier has recovered that. Let's see what those wet tyres could do that. I think as Luke is now 2 seconds in front of the rest of the gaggle of cars at the moment. Goodness gracious me. On board effects game and who's in the I guess for the Virtuosi team at the moment there, and we're on board for now. We're keeping it on that on the wet tyres and seeing if they're going to be quicker. Vessier's dropped down into 13th now as a Gamer passes Martin, moves himself up into 7th position there. Good stuff indeed there. Magnificent. And as it just flying, just going underneath me as well. Hassan randomly getting disqualified. Game is so stupid sometimes. It is. It's been rubbish all the way through the. I think the formation lap's going to have to be turned off. I think, isn't it? Because it's reflections off the circuit there. He has come back on, and just in front of Chewy, who makes his way up into 10th position there. So in the top 8 though to get his points, and Sirius Russian has lost out because he's in the pits. Percy's in the pits as well. I think that this might be time for the wet tyres, you know. What is going on? Siege is actually quicker than Vessel at this stage of proceedings, and he is now, DRS has been enabled, but I think that they're all good. Yes, we got Percy on the wet tyres here. Goodness me, what an incredible sprint this has been so far. And we go down into turn 1 here. Oh my goodness gracious me. And who's that got off? Vintage there off the circuit there, having a very explosive start to the sprint here tonight. Vintage, and he recovers in the Trident, back on in 10th position there. Siege is now, Siege and Sirius Russian has just come out just behind him then, along with Percy, Lucifer and Reflections there, all coming on the wet tyres there. Potentially the drivers that had issues on the opening stages then, and have had to pit. This may help him out then. Chewy's got a 3-second penalty in 8th position. That's going to cost him points then later on this one. Paul Roach is Chappers racing. I don't think he is, my good sir. I don't think Chappers has raced for quite a while, to be honest. I haven't seen him race for a very long time. Vessier now up into 8th position, and Chewy down into 9th in the Charou's car. Charou still haven't got any points so far in this season's team's championship, have they? Vessier now in 8th position, and let's see what he can do then. Of course, remember, he is 5th in the championship at the moment. Vessier is in the high-tech, and Ethan is now going to get a point for his troubles. What about Percy wasn't doing anything see what DRS is going there. That has not been disabled, so to me that would say that it's potentially that it's not wet enough out there. But look at the times there on that left-hand side tower. Siege has taken time hand over fist out of Vintage, and Chewy in front of him, and Vessier as well. So the wet tyres are the way to go then at the inside then. And if Percy can slow down, the back end is kicking out slightly, but Percy is now up into 10th position there. Into the pits comes Hinks now as well. A 5-second penalty, so that is going to be costly later on this race. It's only a sprint, of course, as he comes into the pits now, and that's wet tyres, of course, then, and for the Dams car, and he comes out of the pits now, but he's going to have 5 seconds added on to the end of his race time. Siege has set the fast half of the race. That just underlines that the wet tyres are the way to go. Siege was the first driver to come to the pits there on those wet tyres. Let's see then how this one transpires. We're a quarter way through this race then. Lucifer gets the fast lap drive. Of course, you get the fast lap points if you finish the race, of course, so that's quite crucial. Serious Mushroom has dropped down to 10th position now then, as unbeknownst to us, Percy has now made his way up the order. Reflections is now in, just gone in front of Vessier. Vessier on dry tyres still then, so something's gone wrong for Vessier now, unless he's unless there's a last minute change. Lucifer still didn't change his wing there, so he's got an all might, unless that was again another wing there from Lucifer. He has still got a lot of damage there on the front end of that Trident car. Of course, so Lucifer is loving life in Formula 2 at the motors. However, this race has been a bit difficult, hasn't it, to start this one. Chewy has been passed, and that is the first of the dry runners that Siege has got past now. Let's see where he can go from here on in. And the DRS is still enabled. There it is, and for Siege. And Siege, as we said, had a difficult start to his campaign in F2, but look at how much distance he has given between himself and Chewy already. That is quite telling, I feel. Anyone into the pits, and they're all staying out the top 6 hours. So we come up to half distance. We're 1 lap away from half distance at the moment then. Luke leads with lights in 2nd position. And who is that? Percy up the outside, passes Chewy, and the wet tyres are definitely the way to go at this stage then. Whether the track dries out or not remains to be seen. Serious Mushroom is also getting a lovely advancement up the grid then. There is Finn just in front of us. Percy sets the fast up of the race now as well. Here is Siege said, look at the eyes there. They're very much on stalks at the moment, haven't they, in this one, as it is very much tippy-toe around here in Australia. It's the rain easing off, and it looked like it was easing off. When we was having that forward shock then. In front of us is Flynn then, as I said, making his debut tonight then in the second Carling. No, unfortunately, Carling haven't had both drivers race from at all this season under Flynn. Now up into 6th position and pushing Martin and every step of the way there. We've got a lot of Red Bull livery cars. You would think they're in the same team. They are not. Then Martin is driving the Dams car. For a person got a 3-second penalty. That could be costly here. 4 DRS zones. I haven't even mentioned that. 4 DRS zones around this circuit. DRS is still enabled because it's not deemed to be wet enough out there. It is very much light rain then, but it seems the grooved wet tyres are the way to go. We are looking with Siege, Percy is setting, and all the rest of the drivers are setting incredible lap times out there. Lights has found almost 9/10 of a second on that last lap then, as we come up to half distance now. I think the question is then, how far up can Siege get the Grand Prix win as they come through to complete lap 5 then, and that's when they've just come across the start-finish line. Siege needs to be careful here, but he hasn't got a lot of time then, though, has he? Siege really needs to make hay whilst this rain is shining. Not the sun is shining, the rain is shining. And Flynn has, I think he's in the pits. He is in the pits, Flynn is, and I think he's given up the ghost then on those dry tyres then. Very interesting stuff. I think that some of the drivers would be a 5-second penalty for Flynn there. He'd be disappointed with that then in the Campos. The Carling. So he'd be disappointed, and that's going to be a 5-second penalty added to his race time then. Siege is all over the back of Martin here. Martin having a strong, solid drive at the moment, but he is on the dry tyres, which we think is not the right choice of tyre. It doesn't seem to be, because look at how much Siege can break so much later on the outside into the Brundle turn. Their job isn't good, and there is Percy in the background there. Percy then knows that he needs to try and catch up as quick as possible, but he has a 3-second penalty as well, unfortunately, for his efforts. Lights is flying out. He's gained another 9/10 of a second on the first half of this lap alone. Lights is absolutely flying out there incredibly. And here comes Vintage in the Trident up into 12th position now. Flynn who's just come out the pits. Oh no, and Flynn is off the circuit and he's almost taken Vintage out. And oh dear, then. I wonder if that was a wet spot he found on the circuit, or if he just plain lost control there from Flynn. But he's on the dry tyres as well. I think that Vessels had to make another stop for wet tyres. And I think that was a mistake then, unfortunately, from the high-tech team then. Flynn's got a 3-second penalty as his debut is not going too well at the moment there. For the Campos driver. Knowles jumping to a superb third position at the moment. Unbeknownst to me, had a terrible start, but he's now with the third. Then Gamer from the back of the field is up in the fourth then, and he's now got an 8-second buffer over himself and Siege. And here comes Percy up into 6th position as well. If he can stop that car, just about, goodness me, that Prima car is trying to wander off the road there, but Percy has got the gap between himself and Siege down to a second then. This is the battle at the front now. It is less than a second now. Light and Luke. And we'll see how this one transpires. So the majority of the field is on the wet tyres now. The top four are staying on the wet, staying on the slick tyres at the moment. On the medium tyres, Siege has got a 3-second penalty. That could be crucial depending on how these gaps go later on. Then, so it is Luke, Lights, Nosey, and Gamer all on medium tyres and all on the slick tyres. Gap is down from 8 seconds to 7.3 in about last sector or two. So that is quite a lot of time that he is gaining on Gamer already here. On board once again, Serious Pressure is also now starting to climber his way up through the field as well. Into the pits, and unfortunately it's a bit of a mistake there. Two retirements are both from the formation lap. Unfortunately, Bannister and Hassel out of the race, and I think that both those are going to be furious that Flynn has retired from the session there after Campos made a bit of an error. Then here's Lights on the inside, and I'm wondering how these two know that the wet tyres are quicker. I'm sure they should do. I'm sure they do know what is going on behind them, because they're probably going to have to get a bit of a sprint going. Now, having said that, Siege is only 7.4 still behind Gamer, so I am wondering. Oh, Luke almost lost it there as we go over the grid. Hatch to Lights, who is making his full-time debut for the Virtuosi team tonight then, and Virtuosi will be happy with the proceedings at the moment, and they have made a good call to get Lights into the cockpit. Fantastic. And now he is all over the back here of the ART car of Luke. Then this is going to be interesting. None of these drivers have won a race yet, I don't believe. I think Luke has got a podium now, hasn't he, to his name then. Siege as Siege's in the pit. So Siege is back into the pits, and what's happened there for Siege? He is back onto the wet tyres, and I think that these conditions are too dry. As Flynn has left the session there. This session is I think the track is too dry, unfortunately, for the wet tyres. And I think I think the tyres are getting burnt out, to be honest, because the gap was not coming down very quickly at all, was it? Between Gamer and Siege. And unfortunately back down to left position now then. Serious Mushroom all over the back of Martin, and is he going to get the job done then? Let's take a look. Serious Mushroom there on the inside of Martin. This will be for 6th position. It is for 6th position there. Good manoeuvre there from Serious Mushroom. Martin down into 7th, back at the front then, and it's wheel to wheel now. Lights up the inside. Oh, goodness me. A bit of bang of wheels contact there between the two drivers. Look how gingerly they're going here through turn 11 now. It is very much tippy toes around here at the moment, isn't there? Because it is still very, very... Well, it's not wet at all, is it, really? But if the drivers had the intermediate tyres in Formula 2, I think that would be the tyre to go on. Unfortunately, there's a oh no! And that's a puncture for one of the Prima cars. Percy has the wet tyres. It's too wet. I think it's too dry for the wet tyres, isn't it? It looks like it, and I think that's what's happened there. Percy's parked the car and out of this race there. And maybe that is why some drivers haven't gone for the wet tyres, because the tyre wear for the wet tyres is too high. Up the inside now goes Young, Light said, into the Brundle turn. Luke gives it just about a Virtuosi car whip there, but Luke gets a better perch, get a better run out of turn 3 into 4, then out of the car park as well. We're keeping on the rest of the wet runners, because maybe they're going to struggle to get to the end as well with just 3 laps to go. And I think though that any other wet runner drivers and the wet tyre runners, I think they're too far back back to trouble the top 4 now. Nosey in third position there. Gamer up in the 4th as well. Fantastic 17. Vintage just moving south past reflects there as Percy into the pits. So we'll keep an eye and see what else happens. And we're also keeping on this battle here. That is lights up the inside. Incredible. He is through. But Lucas haven't done with that. Going back up the inside. Yellow flag then. That's one of the tridents is off, I think then. And Siege is through and up into 8th position. I'm not sure. We'll take a look to see what it is in a minute. As it is getting very fruitful at the top here. And it is Lucifer struggling in the car park of Melbourne here. Where's Lights is off the circuit then. And Lights has gone very wide then. And that's unfortunate. Nosey, there he is in the background here. Lucifer out of the race then. And he's crashed on the inside barrier there. Unfortunately, Lucifer out of the Australian Grand Prix sprint now. Percy has not fixed his wing and he's now on the super soft. Percy is. Luke's got a second advantage now over Lights as well. So it's getting very fruitful at the top here. Nosey is now 3.5 seconds back. Then he's gained 2 seconds at yellow flag as the Prima of Percy off the circuit. And it's a nightmare here for Percy in the Prima car. He's recovering back up now and just in front of Vessier, who is on a fresh set of wet tires as well. He goes on the outside. I'm going to be honest, I don't actually know what the correct tyre is at the moment because they're all over the show. Who's at the pits? Serious Mushroom into the pits, and I think that he's got with the ultra softs, the super softs now, isn't it? Luke has got a 3-second penalty. That is it. I think that could cost him the race win here. And this race is up and down all over the show here. But now Lights doesn't need to pass his compared to that because Luke has a 3-second penalty for his troubles here. What an incredible sprint we've had here tonight. Wow, this has been a unique race to say the least. 5-second penalty for Vintage for speed in the pits. That's going to be costly. As Higgins is now out on the wet tyres. Serious Mushroom's gone onto the super soft tyres. Unfortunately, Percy pushed the envelope too much there on those wet tyres and got a puncture, and I'm wondering that's why other drivers come in like Serious Mushroom and Co. Siege is back up into 6th position now. He's 3 seconds away from Martin, who's on course to score some major points for himself and the Dams team. Serious Mushroom 16 seconds back, and Chewy in 8th. Higgins in 9th, and Luke's gone wide, and this time the Lights has got the move done, then passes Luke up into the lead of the sprint race here tonight. And good somebody that Knowles is now for a 10th for a second away from that second position here. And Luke getting that pounce. Then can Nosey really pounce and maybe get second here in this race? That'll be perfection there for the karting team. Now for some reason I keep calling him Campos there for the karting team. And here comes Luke. Then Luke Lights right over to the pit wall there. It's easy. I don't think he wanted to give him a slipstream now. Making sure that he gets no advantage there with just a lap or 2 laps to go in this incredible race here tonight. What an incredible sprint this has been. I've loved this one. Absolutely magnificent stuff. Siege is now less than a second away from Martin. He will have DRS then. I must say then that the drivers that have stayed on the slick tyres have been absolutely mega stuff. Lights, Luke, Knowlesy, Gamer and Martin have done an incredible job. I think the wet tyres were quicker, but the wet tyres are being worn out too quickly because it's not wet enough out there. Siege is up into 5th position there, passes Martin, and that just underlines that the wet tyres are quicker than the dries, but they just can't last. It's not wet enough out there. There's not enough spray, there's not enough water to cool those wet tyres down there, and they're just degrading and falling apart. Unfortunately, Higgins is now past Chewy and up into 8th position now. Chewy down tonight, but unfortunately, but this may come to penalties later on, and there are the penalty situation there. And if Chewy can stay 3 seconds behind Higgins, he may be able to get that point. Then Serious Mushroom, I think he might be a bit too far behind Martin, but we'll see how this one transpires. Only the top 8 gets points then, and up there's Percy's got the fast operator, so he will get that for himself and the Prima team then. Lights then on his debut here tonight then for the Virtuosi. He has driven in both races so far. He's in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. No points in either sprint so far, and only a second position in Saudi Arabia as well then for Lights then. So Lights only scored once there in the first 4 races we've had in Formula 2 this season. But tonight though he is very much hit the jackpot, so to speak, as he's Serious Russia's taking 2 seconds out out Martin on that lap alone now. He might, I think the Martin might just be about home and dry, but it might be get very twitchy there for himself and the Dams team now. Martin hasn't scored any points yet, but this will be a great result tonight for himself and the Dams team. And same with Hings as well in 8th position there, who's super subbing for R2B, who is enjoying himself. Hopefully he's enjoying himself somewhere in the sun. Then hopefully it's not in Australia, because goodness me, we got a bit of rain here tonight in Melbourne, don't we? We got Lights who's leading the way, then going for his first Grand Prix win of his Formula 2 career, and this will be the first time he scored a point in the sprint as well. Then Kaz, hello, good evening to you, good sir. Of course, Kaz, a former bronze driver, and unfortunately he's not racing this season. Hopefully he will later on in the years. Lights there pushing, and he's got a 3-second penalty as well, and he'd be hurt. I think he'd be unhappy about that penalty there, but technically he was out of bounds, so to speak there, but that could have cost him the race win there. Luke's already got a 3-second penalty. Percy has now passed out the race. Serious Mushroom there might be making me eat my hat here, because the gap is down to 6 seconds there. Serious Mushroom's on a mission now, may be able to steal an extra point off Martin here. Lights out of the final turn then, and Young Lights on his debut for him, for the Virtuosi team, and his full debut as well for Formula 2, takes the checkered flag in the sprint here tonight. What a performance there for Lights there. Luke in second position there. Great fight between those two. Knowlesy, great recovery to finish third as well. Magnificent stuff indeed there. Keeping an eye on this battle here. I think the Serious Mushroom is going to be just slightly too far back at the moment. That Gamer coming into a superb fourth position there. Gamer in the wrong car tonight, but he's still representing the high tech. He'd be happy with fourth, I think Gamer would, to come from the back of the field. Siege in fifth position there. He's got a 3-second penalty, but that shouldn't hurt his final position. Serious Mushroom, Serious Mushroom then out of the final turn, and I don't think he's going to get that position in the end then. But Martin, great 6th position there. Serious Mushroom 7th as well, with Hings in 8th position, Reflections 9th, Chewy 10th, Vintage 11th, Lucas 12th and in 13th position there is Vets here as well then. I must say that was a very unusual race, that was, wasn't it there? A lot of drivers well into the wet tyres, but it seems like that they was degraded and puncturing, weren't they? Well, we've seen that on Percy's car. He does get the point for himself in Prima for the fastest lap, but goodness gracious me. Let's go first F2 win there for Light said. Goddamn tyres, Lucas saying then, as Serious Rush my tyres went to 92% now. What's going on there? The wet tyres are just degrading so quickly, weren't they? The track wasn't wet enough, I think, surmising, I believe, because that's why Percy got a puncture, didn't he, when he was high as 6th position now. So absolutely different. Indeed, Siege 18% tyre wear per lap. Was that on the wet tyres there? Goodness gracious me, then that is why drivers had to go into the pits for an extra set of wet tyres there, which absolutely cost them a major point today. But that was a very that was a very unusual race, to say the least, wasn't it? The wet tyre. I think if those were intermediate tyres, then I think that would have been the way to go, wouldn't it? But Formula 2 does not have intermediate tyres. I keep stressing that during the race there, and I think that's what potentially could have helped the drivers that pitted then for for an alternative set of tyres. That is, I like to spray in the old bubbly, spraying the old bubbly indeed. Then so Lights, as we just heard, then on his debut here in Formula, well, not his debut, his full-time debut for the Virtuosi team, gets the win as well. So that's his first points in the sprint. Good stuff indeed then. Second position, Luke. Second position is Luke. Then third position, Knowlesy. Of course, he had a very difficult start. Knowlesy did, but right up into third position, great 17. Gamer from 17th to 4th, magnificent. Siege got the fast up in the end. Then in 5th position, there Martin in 6th. Great drive from Martin. Serious Mushroom in 7th. 8th position is Hings, and that is the final point now. 9th position is Reflections. 10th is Chewy. Vintage 11th, Percy in 12th, and 13th. Vessia. Retirement in this one was Lucifer Flynn. Lucifer Flynn, Hassal and Bannister all retired from the race. Unfortunately for Bannister and Hassal, they didn't make the start at all, did they, unfortunately? And hopefully they can make the start again. And the formation up causing all kinds of issues this week here in Australia. That's more like it. It's a bit of sunshine here. here in Melbourne for our 17-lap feature race now. Of course, the top 10 scores points in this one. We have hopefully going to have 17 drivers in this one. Of course, Flynn has decided to call it a day in his Formula 2 career, sadly. But we'll see how this one goes. Luke saying, I didn't pit for wets because I knew they wouldn't last. So Luke definitely knew a bit more about the tires. So good stuff indeed. Then right then, as we're now getting ready for the start of the feature race here. Then. And here we go then, we've got 18 runners and riders on the track here, aren't we? As Flynn is ghost cars in this lobby still. Everyone on the super soft compound tyres, the purple mark tyres. It's a flashback to back when we had all kinds of colours on the tyres, didn't we? Goodness me. Bring back the ultra softs and the super softs. Goodness gracious me. Right then, let's go for the bridge, shall we? 17 laps then for the feature race. Light said, who of course lights the flag, literally. Oh gosh, and Percy spun there already. Lights on pole position. He's already got 2 points for the feature race with that pole position. Brilliant 17 there. Second position is Percy, but that's not a good start for Percy. Third is Hassan, the Charus Racing System. Can they get off the mark and get some points there? Martin in full position. Great drive from Martin. Great qualifying as well. In sixth position is Luke there. Almost won the sprint race. Can he get some points here tonight in the feature? Vintage in 7th, 8th in Siege, 9th position is Nosey, 10th position is Serious Mushroom. Just outside the top 10 is Chew in 11th, 12th is Lucifer. Difficult sprint for Lucifer. Bannister didn't even take the race start, unfortunately, but he is now in 13th position now. 14th is Vessier, Hings in 15th position, Reflection 16th, 17th is Gamer, and Kiki in 18th position in the who is in the high-tech, but of course Kiki does drive the high-tech. Normally he's in the Campos as the drivers are just making sure that I'm making sure I'm on my toes, which is never unusual, which I'm not really on my toes at all. Then 17 laps around here. Now, of course, for the feature race, you must use 2 types of tyres, exactly like Formula 1. You have to have one mandatory stop then, and that goes from that we'll have to use the medium compound tyres. You get 2 sets of the super soft tyres, but of course one set's already been used, haven't they? Which I found out last week. So very densely. So can lights do a double. No one so far in Formula 2 has done a double. They have so far we have had 4 different winners in 4 different races. We've had Troy. We have had Troy won a race. We've had Troy win 2 races. So I apologise. He's won a feature and he has won the sprint race, but not on the but not in the same event. Now we have also got Gamer who's won a race, and so with R2Beat as well. Then so they all line up on the grid now, preparing themselves for the start. Well, Reflections retire as disqualified. I assume that they're getting disqualified because they're not hitting their marks. Then Reflections has now been disqualified. I take it he's not going to be able to take the start, and that's absolute rubbish there for Reflections. I must admit, I think that is that's robbed 3 drivers tonight there, and yet Reflections are just going now then, but I think he's out of the race then. Oh, and who is that? The Trident there off the circle already, and he's ended, he's not ended there, but he has not ended his race there, but he has certainly damaged his car. I'm not sure which car it was, I'm not sure which Trident it was then, as Percy's on the outside now, and here he comes then, he's pushing now, and Lights is on the inside. No, it's Percy on the inside there, and he is through, and oh, where is it now? Because Lights is not yielding here. Yellow flag, and Percy's off the circuit there, and goodness me, and Hassan's through. Percy down to position, getting their elbows out very quickly here in the Australian feature race here. Goodness gracious me. And my gosh, said as that was lucky that in a humongous smash there. I'm wondering then if Percy May should have backed out of it, or should Lights give him a bit more elbow room, a bit more wiggle room then potentially go into contact there as Hassan currently in a second position about there. Reflections out of the race, and he's going to be very unhappy with that. Then Percy up the inside, and he is side by side now with Hassan and going into turn 11. He's got position 2 back now for Percy, but can Hassan go up and under? Not quite then, and I think that this could be the battle for the race win and lead then here tonight between Percy and Lights, and I'm looking forward to this one. This one's going to get very It's going to get very good, very nice, very good, very early, quickly. I think that it was Vintage then with the damage there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened to Vintage there, but I'm wondering then if it's like I said, a fast up race, and I wonder if there was a slow starter in front of him. I reckon it was Flynn, to be honest. There, Flynn's ghost car, I reckon, caused all the mischief because yeah, he's dropping down the order there. Unless he didn't ghost, I'm not sure, to be honest. Anyway, then back at the front, then we have got. We have got Lights in the race at 5 this game, man. Formation lap again. Yeah, I think the formation lap is absolutely rubbish, isn't it? And disappointing to say the least. I think that that's robbed 3 drivers tonight of racing here. Of course, 2 in the sprint, and now 1 in the main event as well. Siege all over the back of Luke here. I keep thinking that Campos, to be honest, the ART is serious mushroom in the Campos. In the Campos at the moment. And look at this, so we've got a bit of a queue. No DRS yet. It'll be at the end of the next lap. However, is it in Formula 2? I'm not sure, actually. I was going to say, however, I think that the DRS will now be... No, I think that's just for the sprint race for F1, isn't it? Where the DRS is enabled after 1 lap. Luke's got 3-second penalty already. He got a 3-second penalty towards the end of the race there in the sprint just a moment ago, but that 3-second penalty could come back to haunt him later on. Then Siege up the inside, but he thought better of it. Luke at the moment is more racing with his wing mirrors than he has looking out front of his cockpit there because of all the queue cars behind him, which includes Sirius Mushroom and Lucifer driving superbly well. Once again, Lucifer is it was just a blip in the sprint race. Gap in the front is 1.3 seconds, 1.4. No, it isn't anymore. And Percy's off the circuit. And Percy, I think he's damaged the car for the Prima as well. DRS has now been enabled. And here comes Gamer then. Percy looking to his right-hand side, but Gamer's already through. And oh, goodness me, and Percy's now off the circuit as well. Who is that off the circuit in the background? I think that's Hings, is it? It is Hings. I wonder if he was just watching Percy and getting into a bit of a trance there, but he's now behind his teammate Bannister by the looks of things. And oh dear, Bannister's held back ever so slightly. Actually, so Lights now got 2-second gap, and all that. Lights going for the race, the 2 race wins, and the full house, so to speak. Hassel then in second position, and hopefully he can keep it nice and clean. And Martin great in third position at the moment there. Martin doing an absolutely spectacular job out there in that damaged car. Hasn't scored a point up until earlier on tonight in the sprint, and now all of a sudden that he is on course for a podium now. But we're still very early into this event now. Formula 2, we've got 17 laps around here, then Siege on the outside. I don't think Luke is going to give him much space. He's actually giving him a lot of space. Good stuff, good racing there from Luke. I would have probably have shut the door ever so slightly there. Great race indeed there, but now here comes Siege again then with DRS now available for everyone. Serious Russian up the inside. Let's get that banner out of the way. And Siege there still keeping the position. Serious Russian still keeping 7th position as well. Nosey has got past Vintage and the point as well. Vintage has dropped down 2 positions there. We're not sure what's happened to Vintage there. Who is that? That's Gamer up the inside of it's Vesser up the inside of Lucifer, and Lucifer is had to give up, has had to give way to that battle there, battling that battle in high tech there. Lucifer, Vesser now for the 6th position. I'll get the driver's names right eventually. Rick Booger there, as Percy's got a 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. The formation line is bugged, and unfortunately, it's ruined 3 people's races tonight there, and yeah, it's an absolute shambles, isn't it? The formation line, it's unfortunate. I didn't think it was too bad. I can't remember, to be fair. I can't remember. But yeah, I think that's unfortunate because it's ruined 3 people's races now. So I think we're just now watching us see and all over the back of Luke then, who's become a bit of a oh goodness me, that's Kiki, I think, up the circuit there. And Kiki's just recovering now, but that is not what he wanted at all. Goodness me, that's Cesar on the outside of Luke. Luke there just about maintaining position there. Of course, remember, Formula 2 cars does not have any ERS, so it is going to be a bit of DRS and a bit of late braking, I think, for Cesar to get past Luke here. And maybe the same there for Lucifer as well. You can see in the background, Vesser and Lucifer also very close to the back of each other as well. As Luke is now being reeled in there, because now no, sorry, Martin's now being reeled in there because now Luke is in DRS range. Lights is now checking out in front. The gap is already 5 seconds there. Incredible stuff. Percy's now into the pit, so he's got a 5-second penalty. He's on the medium tires. Percy is there hoping for a safety car, something to get him back in the race. 17 laps there. I don't think he's going to get back in the race then if this race is status quo then. So he's going to have to hope for some kind of safety car to really liven this one up then. Wow, I've got to say, I don't really want it livened up anymore. It's been an absolutely fantastic race so far, hasn't it? Incredible stuff, and Siege on the outside of Luke into Brundle here. And he's going to stick on the outside, but he just runs out of grip on that outside curve there. And now Martin is really faded, hasn't he? I wonder if he has burned through those super soft tyres already here. And Martin really struggling then, and I think he's waiting for the pit window to open to come into the pits and go to the medium compound tyres there. I don't think the we've got Kiki off the circuit out of the second corner here. Luke all over the back of Martin, and Martin was at incredible pace so far, up to about the last lap where he's really faded, hasn't he, on the super soft tyres. Martin just keeping his position at the moment, but we've got a queue behind him now. I'm wondering if Martin's going to have to pit in soon then, and I wonder if any drivers behind him are going to pit as well. They're going to try and hang it out there and see if they can go for the overcut here. And Luke on the inside, there's a gap there, and Luke's done it. I think Siege could also go through as well. Where's Luke? He's dropped down into 5th now because Siege is through and up into 4th position there, but Martin is trying to hang it out there, and he has hang it out there. He's on the inside. Siege giving him a car's whip there, and Martin driving superbly well here. He has stayed out there because I think the pit window opens this lap, doesn't it? I think it does. Serious mushroom all over the back of Martin as well. The tyres have faded spectacularly here for Luke there. Gamer's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so he has blinked first as we go into turn 1 and 2 here. And look at this, and far the leader is at the moment then, so Gamer going for the major undercut here. Look at this, and we got now Lucifer all of the back of Fesser. Fesser going on the outside of Serious Mushroom. And he has done it there, Serious Mushroom there, who's lost a lot of momentum there out of turn 3, and he's dropped down to 7th position. And my goodness me, now Luke, Siege, Martin, Vessier, Serious Mushroom, and Lucifer all in. Look at these cars here, incredible battling here in Formula 2. My golly gosh, there, incredible stuff here tonight. Watching Lucifer now 4/10 of a second back at this moment in time. Then I think we need to be watching Vessier, of course, the bronze championship leader at the moment there. Of course, bronze, and he's an incredible fine battle at the moment there, isn't he? And I think we need to keep an eye on this battle for the final podium at the moment there. And we're just taking a look. Kiki in the pits, head onto the medium tyres, and here comes Siege now on the inside into turn 11 there. Luke braking later. Siege has just about got the car stopped, then banging wheels, rubbing wheels there, and Luke has been in an almighty scrap. Martin there has sprung out from underneath the rear wing of Siege. He hasn't got no grip, I don't think Martin has, so he couldn't get the job done. Oh my goodness me, and still he's staying out there. I'm surprised. Into the pits, there comes the Mushroom and Lucifer, both at the pits. I'm surprised Martin ain't come to the pits here. And look at that, that has given Luke a respite here, hasn't he? And now then the Siege are going into turn 1 here. Oh my goodness gracious me, Luke has got a 3-second penalty. Is that his second penalty here for Luke? That is going to be majorly costly there, because I think that this is going to be a very tight feature race here in Formula 2. On the outside, Siege is now with Martin. Martin is not yielding then, but can Siege go up and under? He's got those tyres are in much better condition than Martin. Martin's tyres have really degraded very fast here, quite quickly. Haven't they so far? Gamer has just got past one of them. Got a lot of pit action going there. Vesser is the highest runner on the medium tyres along with Lucifer. Gamer is now in 14th position. He's come up behind Lucifer and Vesser. I'm surprised by that, because I thought he would have jumped up. But there is no tyre blankets at all in Formula 2, so that could cost them. Gets those tyres fired up then. So that might be the reason why some of these drivers are reluctant to come in the pits, and that's why they are drivers and why I'm not. Then I'll be jumping to the pits straight away. And I probably would have cost myself a lot of time there. Watching Siege said he is going on the outside now. He's going to go for the inside here. Again, a good run out of turn 10 then. He has the inside into turn 11 there, side by side. I think Martin won't be able to defend this. He breaks so much later, Martin does. Very impressive stuff indeed there. I got to say, Martin's got an incredible braking foot in that on him, hasn't he? Fantastic there from Martin. And so I thought that Siege was going for a spin there. Hassel stays in the pits, and Sirius has had enough, and so has, I thought Sirius Russian came in the pits, I apologise. And so is Sirius Russian now, and Sirius Russian and Nosy also in the pits as well. Hassel goes into the pits, and look at this. So these are Formula 2 mechanics, and it's one mechanic per wheel then, so the pit stops is not as quick as Formula 1, but it's still incredible teamwork here, as the Charus team have not scored a point yet, have they? So this is crucial in this race then. Oh gosh. On board Vester then is he's got Gamer just in front of us, but I think he needs to be concerned about and look at those three cars there, and look at that then. Once again the tyre blankets are causing all kinds of problems there, and one of the Trident cars is at a spin, I think. Down into the car park, and look at this, and Nosy is now dropping down then in the carling. Then we've also got Vester up the inside as well. Where's Lucifer? He is just behind this battle at the moment. There he is in 15th position there. Bannister making his way up to 14th. Nosy has lost a couple of positions there. I'm not sure if it is reflections are spun there. I'm sure it's in a purple dot going a bit slow. He has damaged the front end plate there, which is a bit unfortunate. Drivers have not pitted. Chewy for Chewy, Vintage, Hings, Martin, Luke, and Lights have all not pitted yet at this moment in time. Now we've got a bit of slipstream, and Siege there, who's probably wants to break out of this slipstream. Look, Gamer has got his tyres up to temperature, so he will have a tyre advantage at this moment in time, but that tyre advantage will disappear in the not too distant future. Gamer going a bit wide on the outside curve, then yellow flag then is Kiki has had an issue in turn 2 once again, and Kiki on a nightmare race. He didn't even get prepared, I don't think Kiki did it. Martin's pit lane speed limited has overshot into the pit lane, and that's unfortunate then. Yeah, Kiki came into this lobby so late then, didn't he? And he couldn't take part in the sprint because he was running very late. Unfortunately, Kiki wasn't in there. I think that lack of preparation has really cost him in this race tonight. Lights has pitted and stayed out in the lead then. Hassel is in second position, and Luke is in third, I think. Then Luke is in third. There he is. Siege in fourth, Sirius Russian fifth, Gamer sixth, Martin out right in the thick of things. Martin's lost a couple of positions. Nosy up the inside, and goodness me, that was getting very hairy indeed then. Oh, and I'm not sure if there was contact there. And now Martin up the inside of Vessia, not quite though. And he is just going to have to wait, isn't he? Maybe the DRS zone out of turn 7 potentially for Martin, but he will have colder tyres there. Siege is now in, oh goodness me, he's got past Flynn up into 4th position. Flynn is not in this race, unfortunately. He bailed after the sprint race, unfortunately, which didn't go too well for Flynn on his debut. I'm not sure that'll be his last race. Sirius Russian there, who is currently in 6th position. Gamer in 7th one, and Nosy as a Kiki is caught it there. To us, I don't blame him really. He came in the lobby very late then. Lack of prep time, and unfortunately, it's really cost him in this race there. Nosy up into 10th position. Now made that 9th because Vestier's off the circuit. And Vestier is off at the precarious turn 10. And that is going to cost him a handful of points, I'm sure of it, in the high-tech. And down into 30th position there, unfortunately. Back on board with Nosy at the moment, he's got yellow flags, and it is for Kiki out of the race. We're down to 15 runners and riders in Formula 2. Nosy is in the Logan Sargent car from 2022 Formula 2. You've got a lot of dancing up in front of us there, as we just seen the ghost car coming in the pits. So Nosy in 8th, Lucifer in 9th position, Bannister in 10th position. Once again, Bannister showing that he is quite adept to these Formula 2 machines there. Percy is right behind his teammate in 11th. Well, there they are into the background there between the two Primas. Vestier out of the Grand Prix. That's unfortunate for Vestier. Then also out of the race down to 14 runners and riders on lap 10 out of 17. Farfus asks, what are the position changes? And let's take a look at as Farfus, I think, is Farfus in charge of driving the one, and we've still got another 7 laps to go. I would say if Farfus wants my input, which he probably does, there's Nosy's having a sniff on the inside there. I think the game might be a shoe for driving the day. Then I think we also probably have to give a shout out for Lights as well. He's doing a good job out there, and we've also got, I think Serious Russia also, Serious Russia should also be in it as well then, but that's just me. And look at that then, it's a Lucifer up into 8th position. Lucifer might also be in the Driver of the Day award as well. Unfortunately, we've got only have 4 awards. I'll give it to all of them then. As flying through there as well as Rick has just said a lot then. Good stuff indeed. There are a lot of positions in there. He is not wrong on that one, is he, our Rick, as we got to Lucifer in 8th position now. Passes. Oh, nosy! Goodness me! I used to commentate quite 4 days a week on a weekly basis, but I must say this I'm being a bit rougher tonight, and I must say, or perhaps it's just a. The final turn, and can Lucifer get past Martin as well? Martin drives superbly well. Martin's going for the inside then, so Lucifer's going to stick to the racing line. Go on the outside. Martin giving him a squeeze, just about a Trident's whip there. Can Knowlesy spring a surprise on these 2 drivers and use his wealth of experience in the Formula 1 machinery to get past these 2 battling drivers? But Lucifer on the inside! Magnificent! Look at those brake discs glowing there. Fantastic stuff indeed. As Rick has unfortunately planned his vacation really bad. Oh, you R2B, I'm so sorry. Oh, goodness gracious me, shocking behaviour indeed then. Of course, R2B then on vacation at the moment, isn't he? I've forgotten where he's gone then, so if you can enlighten me, that'll be fantastic stuff. I wanted to drive this circuit. R2B is saying that I'm really bad with names, and I apologize profusely. As I said then, I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I knew what Forrest's first name was about a year ago, and I've known Forrest since we started ALR back in season 1. Watching Siege all over the back now of Luke, as these 2 have once again fighting tooth and nail. Yes, so Rick is R2B. Welcome to the stream, my good sir. Great to have you along for us. We would rather see you on track, my good sir, because R2B is second in the championship as of last feature race. He may drop down a few positions there, but I cannot wait to see him back in Baku in a week's time. Then over the grid hatchings once again then, and at the moment Siege is fighting tooth and nail then for this final podium as well. I'm sure Luke's got 6 seconds of penalties, whilst and Martin there, he looks very extremely on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side there, going down into turn 1. Now he's going to help his turning into turn 1 and 2 then. Percy now in 10th position there, but he will be on very old medium tyres there. Then we've got Bannister in 11th position as well. So top 10 that gets the points in this one. Of course, in the sprint race, it was in the top 8. You get a point from fast up as well. Young Lights has got a 10-second lead at the moment there. I must say that Young Lights on his debut tonight, I forgot, he was in the race at the Virtuosi car. Great driving there from the Young Lights. Magnificent stuff indeed there. Absolutely flying high in that Virtuosi car. Oh, he's got a 3-second penalty. I think that's the second one. It is the second one. Hassan, of course, getting 5 seconds of penalties. I think for speed in the pit lane. Luke on 6 seconds as well. Steve's also got 5 seconds. Serious Mushroom could in theory jump up to 3rd here, you know, and Serious Mushroom loves an interview. I'm sure he wants to talk to me as well. I'm joking about that. He never wants to talk to me. But he could potentially go to 3rd here. He's drawing a very calm and calculated race, like he did in the bronze race last night as well. Up into 9th position now goes Percy in the Formula 2. I'm not there in Baku as well. A long holiday. Where have you gone, R2B? I would like to know, because I'm nosy, to be honest. It's shocking stuff indeed. Is Percy all over the back of Martin now. Martin there struggling. Remember, Martin's pace fell right off towards the end of the first stint on the super soft tyres, and because of that, he kind of formed a queue behind him. And now he's got another queue with Percy flying high. I wonder if Percy might be able to go to the end, you know. That's going to be a long way, and I think Percy's not happy about that. I think that Martin and Percy's got another penalty, unfortunately, for his troubles. I don't think he was too happy with the fellow liveried Red Bull driver. Maybe moving in the braking zone potentially. He's having a look there. Oh, that would have been a day late and $1 short there. Knowlesy carrying the red 5 tonight in the Carling car. Fantastic stuff indeed. Of course, you Nigel Mansell fans out there would love that red 5, won't you? Vessier has just put his thoughts into the paddock there. Well, that was not very good. He used an explicit there, but of course we are meant to be a PG show sometimes it's very borderline on PG, especially when Farf's on the mic. Luckily, he doesn't get many podiums these days, but as we're just watching Siege then, who is all over the back of Luke once again, then he is having a look. Oh, not quite. He was just too far back in the moment then. I'm going to stick to this battle between Martin and Percy, as it was getting very fruitful down in turn one, wasn't it? Four retirements in this range so far. Flynn didn't take part in the, hasn't taken part in the start. Reflections getting disqualified. Percy really fighting with the car as well as with Martin here. Goodness gracious me. At the final turn as well then for Percy then before going into turn one then, as the battle for the as at the moment then Luke is losing that third position now, as it was that in the weaving, and I think that's Gamer. I wonder if he's strung with tire temperature. It was beautiful sunshine at the beginning of this race, and now Percy on the inside of Martin. Contact between the two drivers, and in the wall they go. I wonder if Percy wasn't fully alongside Martin there, but that is cost both drivers dearly, hasn't it? Bannister is now, I think that Nosey has let Bannister go here. I wonder if he overtook him under yellow flags. I wasn't watching, to be fair, as we was having all kinds of shenanigans, and these two almost came to blows in the in turn one last lap. Unfortunately, they did come to blows that time around. Martin doesn't look like he's got damage, nor does Percy either, but that is not what was a part of the plan then. Driver of the day is now in there for Gamer, for Lucifer, and for Hassel. Get those votes coming in then. Good stuff indeed then. As RTB Italy, my real car kissed the wall really badly. Oh goodness me, I hope you're alright, my good sir. Yeah, that's not good at all. Oh dear. Does that mean your car? I hope your car isn't totaled or anything. Is that the or written off? I hope goodness, that's not really good. That's not good at all, really, is it? No, that's not a good way to start your holiday either. But hope things can only get better. I'm sure it can. And Italy's a wonderful. I've never been. The furthest I have been in my lifetime is Wales, to be honest. There we go. Mainly because I'm scared of flying, and I'm also scared of the sun as well. Right, Lucifer now up into 7th position, and he's now going to be in 6th as Gamer dropping down into 7th. Lucifer loves these Formula 2 cars, doesn't he? He's driving superbly well in the Trident once again then. And this is every race he's been a part of, Lucifer has stood up in the seat of that Trident, hasn't he? Really good stuff indeed there from Lucifer. He struggled in the Formula 1 machinery when he's raced it, when he's been a super sub in silver and bronze over the past few races at the end of season 8 of ALR. But in Formula 2, he's got a 3-second penalty. I apologise profusely. I think I better leave him alone because he's probably cursing me now. But Lucifer has been really good in Formula 2, and at the moment, no, he is not losing that position now. He'll have a lot of penalties on that bowler. Nosey's still behind that Bannister, and Martin has dropped down to 11th position there. Has a 5-second penalty as well for Martin. He's got a outside chance of scoring points still. Nosey into the barrier, and now Percy is through. Lights has got another penalty on lap 15 out of 17. He does have this gap all the way. He's basically almost insurmountable. In front is so far in front. Percy's past his teammate Bannister up into 8th position. He does have penalties though. But Lights are 9 seconds of penalty, so he may have to when we next race, which is in Baku in a week's time. Unfortunately, R2 Pete will not be with us. As he hopefully, I hope he'll be having a better time in this than what he's had over the past couple of days or so. But when we do, when F2 does come back, then Lights may have a closer battle next week. And if he does have a closer battle next week, he is certainly going to have to get rid of these penalties there, isn't he? There, because that could be costly in that race. Lap 16 out of 17 here tonight. Then, as we are now approaching the twilight of this Australian Grand Prix. Nosey, no penalties at all, so he is looking at 9th position. Whereas Bannister is looking at 8th position. Now, good drawing indeed there for Bannister and for Nosey as well. Serious Mushroom currently in 5th position. Well, I'm not going to say anything more from Mushroom because we all know about my commentary or about my jinx, isn't it? That the commentary curse is absolutely real. As it's got very dull overhead indeed, hasn't it? Of course, what an incredible Formula 2 event this has been tonight there. Of course, as we have had rain in the sprint race there, but it was not wet enough for the wet tyres because they've fallen apart after 6-7 laps there, which was not ideal. That and of course the winner stayed on dry, didn't they? Lights did. Lights is now on course to win do a double, which would be the first double of the season to win both the sprint and the feature at the same venue then, which is great 17 for Lights. The perfect way to start his virtuosity career in Formula 2. Magnificent stuff indeed there. Virtuoso to be overjoyed with this result tonight. Bannister got a lot of understeer there, hasn't he, out of turn 10, and Knowlesy might be able to take advantage here as Lights on his final tour of Australia. What an incredible performance here from Lights, and the sun is coming back out now. It's now bathing and lovely outside there. Obviously I do love the pink, magnificent. And it does match his Alpine machine as well. Of course, Knowlesy raced when he had COVID on Sunday, didn't he? Very good stuff indeed. I don't think he's still not well. He's still not well. So hats off to Knowlesy for driving when he's been feeling absolutely appalling answer. So good stuff indeed there for Knowlesy. It's very difficult. I think it's very difficult to race at the best times, let alone when you're ill as well. I thought someone was off the circuit then, but at the moment, Knowlesy on course for a 2 points there for himself and for the Carling team. So Colin would be happy with this. Won't be very happy with this, to be fair, which is good stuff indeed there. Percy's tyres have probably hit the cliff now, haven't they, unfortunately? But your Lights got another penalty. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference there, but goodness gracious me, that is not ideal at all for Lights there, is it? But I think that is the only issue he's had today, hasn't there? Just been penalties. Everything else has been absolutely perfect for himself and the Virtuosi team then, and Virtuosi will be happy with this because this will be their first feature race win of the season. They've already had their first sprint race win of the season as well. So Knowlesy then is catching, but here is Lights coming across line to win his second race win of the season in Formula 2, his first feature race win of the season, and it is the first double of the season in Formula 2 as well. Virtuosi's first two race wins as well here in Australia. Albert Park belongs to young Lights, and magnificent stuff indeed. Really well done then, and Hassau getting that 5-second penalty, which has cost him that second position here today. And Serious Mushroom with no penalties has catapulted himself right up into second now today. What an incredible drive there from Serious Mushroom, and that is absolutely supreme stuff indeed then. Siege, when did Siege finish? I can't remember now, but I think he finished fifth. Oh yeah, he did finish fifth. Sorry, I thought he dropped out of the order there. We've got Knowlesy, who is dropped all the way down to 13th, unfortunately. But it's Lights' day down under here. Absolutely superb stuff indeed there for young Lights. As I said, this is the first double of the season, and both the sprint and the feature race. Magnificent stuff indeed there for Lights. Brilliant stuff there. RTB, awesome job once again. Thank you very much, my good sir. I hope your car's all right in the end. I hope it gets repaired, or I hope it's not too serious then. Albeit hitting the wall quite badly does sound very serious indeed then. But and also congratulations to Lights as well. And I'm sure he would appreciate that. I'm sure he will very much appreciate that. Good stuff indeed then. Gamer gets 8% of the drive of the day. I must admit, I think the Serious Mushroom problem is the drive of the day in there, but so he might be feeling a bit aggrieved with that. And for once, I do agree with the Mushroom. Right, I always agree with the Mushroom. Goodness gracious me now. Right then, as we get a bit of the bubbly spray in now in the on the podium, now let's take a final look at the classification then from the feature race. And Lights has got 38 points in this weekend alone. Magnificent stuff indeed there. Right, so Lights said in the first feature race win of the season. Magnificent stuff indeed. Serious Mushroom, great drive up into second today. That's absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. For third position was Luke, great drive up into third. Then Hassan in fourth. Siege in 5th position. 6th position is Lucifer with Gamer in 7th. Bannister in 8th position. Hings in 9th. Then 10th position is Martin, and that is the point scorer for today. Percy down in 11th position, and it doesn't seem to go well for Percy in Formula 2 at the moment. Vintage in 12th position there. Knowlesy in 13th and Chewy in 14th. Retirements was Flynn, I should say, Vestier, Kiki and Reflections all retired from the Australian Grand Prix. Right, let me get me controller out. Serious Mushroom, what an incredible drive to second today. I can't remember much of the sprint race apart from the fact it was raining. We'll talk about let's talk about the sprint race first of all. Then that looked very treacherous conditions out there in the sprint race, Mushroom. And it was difficult whether to decide whether the dries or the wets to go. You went for the wets there, but they seemed to fall apart almost instantly.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. I don't know. I seen someone do it in front of me, so that's what made me choose to do it. And bad move. There was literally gone. There's like on 93%, most of them, 94%.
Do you think that if you stayed out on the dry tyres, that you could have potentially got the top 5 in the sprint?
No, don't think so. The guys around me are a lot faster, so I doubt it.
Never mind about that though, but let's go on to the feature, shall we? Because you got second today, then lack of penalties elevated you to second, then, and not only that, then you had some very good pace indeed. Then, but talk us about how difficult it is not to get penalties around here, because the penalties was racking up left, right, and centre for everyone else. Then, but you said earlier on in the week as well that penalties were going to win or lose you races over this week, and it certainly was indeed, and it's elevated you to second. But how difficult is it not to get any penalties today?
Yeah, it's really hard round. Australia, it's terrible, to be honest. I think some of it is a bit wrong, actually, but that's all I was concentrating on. I've seen people have got penalties around me, so I thought, stick to that. Try and keep, I think it was Gamer wanted, it was behind me. He was closing me down. I thought, as long as I can keep that gap. I didn't actually realise I was going to come on the podium, to be honest. And so I didn't click till about the last lap. And then, well, the last 2 laps, and I thought, I've got to keep up with the guys in front within 5 seconds, so that's what I did.
It was indeed, and I think that this was absolutely a great result today for you. Then, do you think that going into Baku in a week's time, then do you think that you could now be on the podium regularly?
No, I hate Baku, so that's out of the question. I'd like to think I could get on the podium regularly, but it depends on if they go back to like setups. If it goes back to setups, then maybe not.
Do
Not
you
very
quite
good
like
at these
having
cars. I
those?
don't really like them, to be honest.
Do you quite like having those setups then for these Formula Two machines? Then do you feel it's a bit more pure?
What you say? I can hardly hear you, Sean. What do you say?
Do you think that with no setups, the Formula Two cars is a bit more pure? Do you prefer it without setups?
Yeah, but it equals it out for me. I'm just not good with them. I'd never drive them, you see. So I joined this just for the fun of it.
Oh, it's certainly been fun tonight. A great drive to the second today, Sirius Mushroom. Absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. Shockingly enough, you
Cheers,
weren't
bud.
driver of the day, though. I bet you got a comment on that one, haven't you? Shocking, that was far
No,
harder.
I'm not bothered about driver of the day. I got it yesterday, didn't I? So
You can't have it 2 days in a row, definitely not. That'll just be
yeah,
greedy.
Becca's not here, so
Well done today, Mushroom. Brilliant drive to second today. Absolutely fantastic stuff.
cheers, mate.
You was my driver of the day anyway. Magnificent. Let's
Cheers, bud.
let's come to. I think Luke finished third today. Luke, you had an almighty scrap with I think lights in the first race, and then in the second race, you had everyone behind you. But talk us about the sprint first. Then everyone was going into the pit for the wet tires. And was you concerned by that at all?
Yeah, originally I was concerned because I was on the formation lap. I was watching my tyre temperatures and they were not climbing. They were barely climbing. I think they climbed about 4 degrees over the formation lap. And I was thinking, this could be a first lap dive into the pits because these tyres aren't warming up. But after the first couple of laps, once I rejigged the brake balance a bit and sort of put more brake balance towards the front tyres, I was getting slightly more temperature, which was just enough to make them bearable to use. But yeah, it was still obviously very difficult, very concerning. But I did have my doubts that the wets would last the full sort of 9-10 laps they would have been used for. And other drivers certainly proved my point when they started getting punctures and having to repit again.
And then you and Younglights had an almighty scrap, I think, in the sprint race. Goodness me, you're rubbing wheels and everything. I bet you was enjoying that, weren't you? That battle in the opening race.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. Originally I felt quite confident because I think after about 4 or 5 laps I had a 3-second sort of buffer to lights, and I thought, okay, it's not, it's good. And then I just watched as he just reeled me in. He reeled me in about 2 laps, and I don't know how he does it, but he definitely, I think, looked after his tyres better than I did, because by the end of that sprint race, I was sliding all over the place. I was struggling to keep it on the track, and I'll take second really back to two podiums in one weekend really.
And of course, and then talking about the feature race as well, goodness gracious me, there was an incredible battle behind Martin at the opening stage of that race. Mushroom had a bird's eye view of it as well, but you was in the thick of things to begin with. How difficult was it to stay out of trouble then? Because you guys were just concertining up then, and I couldn't believe that you guys didn't have an almighty smash then. How difficult was it to stay out of trouble in those opening laps then, with all you like close together?
Oh yeah, no, it is very difficult because the one thing about this track is that it can be quite difficult to break DRS because there's 2 detection points. So if they're in your detection point going into the penultimate corner, they've got you for down to turn 1 and turn 3, and then you've got like 4 or 5 corners to try and break them before they'll get DRS on the back straight, and then on the run to turn, I think, 11 and 12. So
3 detection points.
3? No, there's 2. No, there's 2.
It's 3, isn't it?
No, there's 2.
Front straight, and the next straight, and then one down the back.
Yeah, but the detection points, like, you get DRS even if you've overtaken someone going into into the fast left-right-hander. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I get what you mean there. I'm starting an argument for no reason, sorry.
So you're literally making me Google the track map here to try and, like... So I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no, it was weird. We all Constantinaed up. I just couldn't get the tyres to fire up in the first few laps. And I was really struggling, and I kept getting I got 2 6-second penalties purely because I couldn't fire the tyres up. And then I think at lap 4 or 5, I suddenly got them into the window, and we romped off into the distance. It was a good battle with Siege. I did feel like he was, no offence, Siege, I did feel like he was a little bit passive. Like, he would sort of look to the inside. I was thinking, here we go, he's going to try and make a move, and he just sort of then ducked back behind me again. I was going, oh, okay, that's... Sure, I guess. But yeah, no, it was good. The second stint was better, and then I knew by about lap 15, 16 the people that tried to do the undercut would be struggling, and I basically watched Siege tumble back because obviously his tyre started to go, and I nearly got Mushroom. I was watching that gap extend as well, but obviously props to him for keeping it within my penalty gap. So back-to-back P3 feature race podiums, back-to-back podiums for the sprint race and feature tonight. I'll take that.
Fantastic stuff indeed then, and to be honest, you're both probably right, because I have no idea when the detection zones are. I can't count past 1. Right, that's going to be it then for tonight then, and for Australia as well. We will be back in action then in ALR for gold on Sunday night, and we got a sprint race for gold, silver and bronze then, which I must say I'm not a fan of, but what you get though is double the racing then, which is going to be fantastic, I'm sure of that then. 7:30 UK time for gold, silver and bronze, and Formula 2 will also be back in Baku as well. Cannot wait for that. It is Street Fighters on Sunday. Cannot wait for it. Goodbye.
GG, guys.